Things I love about the Innovation at Work radio show is that I get the opportunity to talk with some of the Metroplex's greatest innovators, some of the big thinkers. And in addition to that, I get to bring folks on that have some lofty aspirations of their own and introduce them to these big thinkers and allow them to give some nuggets of wisdom that might help them along the way. So today, I've got a fun show, and the young lady that will be here shortly is Lucy, the owner of Macho's Haircuts, and it's my premier sponsor right now. She's got a new location in Addison on Beltline and Marsh, and she's at it just trying to make some things happen. But one of her greatest, one of the people she admires the most is Mr. DeWitt. Randy DeWitt from Rockfish and Twin Peaks is here today. We're going to find out how this innovator has opened 14 Rockfish locations, 5 Twin Peaks locations. It really is a fascinating story. And again, when Lucy gets here, she'll ask some questions on how she can kind of follow in those footsteps. So, Randy, thanks for joining us today.
Happy to be here.
So, Rockfish has been around for a while now, and people are familiar with it. It's, in my opinion, the most successful casual dining fish eatery. And I want to know the story of how you started that. You know, really, in the past, you've had some kind of extremely fancy. You had to get dressed up to go out and enjoy some nice seafood, and now you can go to Rockfish and just kind of relax and enjoy a good meal. Where did that inspiration come from to start Rockfish?
Well, it was an evolution. I mean, I started with a coffee bar with a health food menu that was named Michelle's Coffee Bar after my girlfriend at the time and now wife. But that was a really tough way to make a living. We had a very low check average, no alcoholic beverages. People will eat healthy for breakfast and lunch, but come dinner time, they want to drink and they want to eat something very satisfying. So I couldn't drag people in for dinner, and that was hurting the business. So
and that was in Dallas?
That was in Snyder Plaza across from SMU in 1994. So after a year of struggling with that, we decided to close that down and reconcept it as it went from Michelle's Coffee Bar to Shell's Oyster Bar, and it was spelled apostrophe S because the nickname I had for my wife Michelle was Shell, and we thought that was cute. So we reopened as an oyster bar with a very simple menu and most importantly cold beer on tap. So
same location.
Same location, and it was an instant hit. So we ended up building 3 Shell's Oyster Bars, and then a seafood chain out of Florida, spelled Shell's plural, decided that we were infringing on their trademark, and they had a pretty good case, although they were 5 states away. And
they just said some people might be confused. 5 states over, they might think.
Yeah, well, they claimed the airline pilots were that were traveling back and forth, and that was actually in the letter they wrote to us. But they did have a good case. We did not own the national trademark on the word Shells. They did, and the apostrophe wasn't enough to convince.
Really?
Convince anybody.
I guess it was about 3 shows ago. We had my intellectual property attorney on that we talked a lot about. Branding and intellectual property, and so this is a good example of kind of what we were talking about.
Sure.
But that's tricky, it seems like I would have guessed that would have been okay, but I guess,
Well, it may have been, but who had, we did not have the money to fight them in court. We were a small fledgling operation, and I don't remember how many stores Shell's had at the time, but they had just gone public and had all this cash, and they were suing a couple other companies that had similar names as well. So we kind of got caught up in that and decided our 4th location was of Shell's Oyster Bar was planned for Plano, which is kind of a white bread suburb. And the previous 3 locations were in a part of town where there were more single people and people who had appealed to the oyster bar concept. So we were repositioning the concept anyway, and that that lawsuit over the name was sort of the catalyst to, let's rethink the concept when we opened this Plano store, and we came up with Rockfish, and it worked even better.
At this point, maybe you should send them a thank you letter, just because who knows if it would have been as successful as Rockfish.
It's funny. I met the CEO of that company years later, and that's exactly what I did in a very public setting. It was at a restaurant industry conference. I said, first thing I want to do is thank Bill Hadaway, former CEO of Shell's Seafood in Florida, because now we have this wonderful seafood concept, Rockfish, and he helped me get there.
That's funny. from that first story, just the fact that you're willing to evolve from the first kind of more health related to shells, I think is unique. So many people are they get their business plan written for whatever business it is, a restaurant or some kind of retail location, but they have everything planned out, and the first obstacle that they get to that they don't feel that they can get over it, they kind of just close shop. And here
Right.
you are, you face an obstacle, and you just decided to just change your perspective and start a new successful venture. So where did that come from? The desire to keep going no matter what?
Well, I think it was just the burning desire to not fail. Failure was not an option for me. I didn't. It's not like I have a Harvard law degree, and if I failed, I could just go to work for somebody and make just as much money. And I wanted to be in business for myself. I wanted to succeed, and I wasn't going to let anything stop me. Something as simple as my restaurant concept didn't work. So what? Retool, reinvent.
Pretty good advice.
Come back.
How important was the camaraderie between you and your wife, or I'm not sure at what point you actually got married, but I know, as I try different ventures, just having the support of my wife, always backing me up and saying, go for it, was very important to me. I don't think I would have been able to do a lot of the things I've done, without that kind of moral support behind me. Was that as important to you as you had to restructure and retool?
Winston, I think so. She's a special lady, and she fell in love with me when I didn't have two nickels to rub together. So if we end up that way, she says, you're the same guy I met and fell in love with. So I don't care if you're rich or poor. And I think that's important in any relationship, sure.
Good deal. So Rockfish, what year was that first Rockfish Plano open?
That was 1998. It was, I guess, February of 98. So we're coming up on our 10-year anniversary.
Wow. I guess you have some big plans and some
There will be some excitement around that. We'll have some exciting specials. And,
kind of a special 10-year menu.
Yeah, one of the things that came up in conversation about planning for this 10-year anniversary was maybe we should roll back prices 10 years. And we looked at the prices we were charging back then, and they're not very different. So I'm not sure anyone's going to really respond to that and come in.
Very good. So let me ask you a question. When you switched over from at that very first location, and you kind of changed the look and the feel, was that a big process? I mean, did you change the whole kitchen, or was it more of a cosmetic change? And how easy was that?
For me, it was when I came up with the new concept and decided this is what I'm going to do here. I wanted to use as much of what I already had as possible. And I take it we're speaking about the Michelle's Coffee Bar to Shell's Oyster Bar. Yeah,
right.
That was a very low-budget cosmetic change because I was just about out of money. I mean, I literally made the storefront sign on my driveway and hung it myself with the help of a good buddy of mine. And, we did it on a Sunday night after operating the restaurant, that day, because at Michelle's Coffee Bar, Sunday brunch was really big. So we ran our normal brunch, and we shut down the restaurant, did some repainting, redecorating inside, hung the new sign, and then my wife and I went out to a nightclub and went dancing that night because we needed to blow off some steam. So we were younger and much more energetic back then.
Good deal. Well, my audience is really into the personal anecdotes, the personal stories that make the big picture so much more impressive when you really learn how we got from point A to point B. And my audience loves to go on the website and check out pictures. I don't know if you have any, but I'll talk to you during the break. If you have any pictures of some of those older concepts, and maybe just
not on the Rockfish website.
No.
Be interesting to do that, but they're not there.
If you can scrounge any up just on the old on film, we'll get them scanned and put them on the projectinnovation.net website, just so my voracious audience can kind of see what that was like back then.
Right.
Well, we've got a lot more to come. And here, let me kind of set the expectations for you guys listening at home. And if you want to join us today, you certainly can. Join us by calling 972-572-1360. If you have any questions for Randy DeWitt, who again is the owner and the founder of the Rockfish stores. I'm sure you've seen them all over the place. And, of course, the fairly new concept, Twin Peaks, which if you follow Innovation at Work, we featured some of the ladies from Twin Peaks about maybe 2 or 3 months ago. Pretty interesting show. My engineer is nodding
shaking his head. He remembers well.
We've got pictures on the website, projectinnovation.net, if you want to take a look at that. But so we'll talk about how we evolved from going from Rockfish, one of the most successful casual diners for seafood, to a more unique concept, Twin Peaks. I think that's one of the most fascinating stories. So hope you'll join us. About how much time do we have left? A couple minutes left. So let me ask you, Randy, if you were to open a new concept, I mean, are you always thinking about, what might be the third concept or the third, business adventure for you?
Absolutely. The only thing I would change is this time I don't want it to be necessitated because of a failed restaurant.
That's a good point. I really think I admire you, and I've been talking with Randy for months and months because I've always wanted to have him on the show, because I think the story that transitioned from Rockfish to Twin Peaks is really one of the most fascinating that I've ever heard. So we're going to get to that in just a moment. Hope you'll join us after the break. We'll be right back.
Sight is one of our greatest gifts, but easy to take for granted. To see clearly, some of us need glasses, contact lenses, even LASIK surgery. In Dallas, the choice is clear. Dallas Vision Center, one of the most recommended by patients vision specialty centers in the country. Dallas Vision Center offers pre-LASIK testing to see if you're a proper candidate for LASIK surgery. With possible side effects like haze, night glare, annoying light halos, even loss of vision sharpness, there are options in many cases to surgery. Dallas Vision Center fits the latest contact lenses. Some you can leave in 24/7 for up to 30 days. If you wear glasses, there's a large selection of frames with same-day service on some single vision lenses. Dallas Vision Center is conveniently located in the Park Forest Shopping Center, and their phones are actually answered by a human being. Don't take vision for granted. Make an appointment with Dallas Vision Center today. Call 972-241-8084, 972-241-8084, or visit dallasvision.com.
Once there was a book called the AT&T Real Yellow Pages. Everyone used it, except for one very wound-up woman who used a less complete book to find a yoga studio.
Okay, let's see. Hank's Yoga and Auto Body. That's a cute name.
But she quickly learned her road to Zen had taken an unfortunate detour.
This is a one-legged pigeon posture.
Yeah.
You put this over here like that.
You mean like I just...
Hang on.
Yeah, see, I don't bend that. Oh!
With the AT&T Real Yellow Pages, she would have had more complete ads and up-to-date listings.
Looks like you got an aftermarket chakra.
Yeah, but I can't...
Oh, hang on.
Choose the right book every time. The more complete AT&T Real Yellow Pages with more information.
Hey, actually...
I'm gonna need a bigger hammer.
Inner peace delivered. Need something online? Search for it at yellowpages.com. The new AT&T. Your world delivered.
In Fort Worth, people choose the one Yellow Pages with more complete and up-to-date listings than all the other books in the land. The AT&T Real Yellow Pages.
What does a major toy maker, a hair removal clinic, and the world's largest executive suites company have in common? Winston Edmondson helps them solve problems. The problems are as diverse as the businesses, but that's no problem for Winston Edmondson. Toys R Us had a problem with vendors communicating with their Oracle system. Winston Edmondson created a web-based application that solved the problem. Ideal Image needed to gain male customers. Winston Edmondson created the Ideal Guy contest and IdealImageGuy.com. Problem solved. Regus Executive executive suites needed a way to track HR calls coming in from 400 plus business centers. Winston created a web-based tracking system to ensure that all calls received prompt attention and no caller would ever slip through the cracks. Problem solved. Now you can hear Winston Edmondson on Biz Radio 1360 Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. The Innovation at Work radio show highlights innovative ways of doing business, making money, and living life. Tune in to Biz Radio 1360 Saturdays 1 p.m. or log on to protectinnovation.net. Problem solved.
Can't get enough of Del? Now catch the best of Del Walmsley, Sunday mornings at 9.
When you decide to make something happen in your life, when you focus your attention on it, it will occur.
It's not the money, it's the lifestyle.
You are the solution to your problem, the solution to your challenge.
The way to wealth is right here.
You are the power and the embodiment of success. All you have to do is take the actions required to get there.
The best of Del Walmsley, Sunday mornings at 9 on the Biz Radio Network.